Hey Facebook world, actor artist Matthew Atchley back here again, wanting to give you guys some tips on how to make your drawings a little bit more realistic. Plus I wanted to give you guys something to do at home, since I know so many of you guys are stuck at home without many things to do. So I have said that this week I've been premiering all kinds of new pieces. I've already premiered my Baby Yoda, I have premiered my Joker, I have premiered my Chris Cornell, and I would like to premiere a new one. This is what we're going to be working on today. And of course, appropriately titled, we will be working with Adam West from the 1966 Batman show. So this is what I've done so far, and we're going to start working on his cape and getting some realistic folds in the fabric and highlights and everything. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to flip around while my human tripod stays stationary there for me, and we will get right to work. I've already made some guidelines here of where my highlights and my shadows and stuff are going to be. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab a pencil, and it's going to be a little bit darker than what I've done around here. So I'm getting a little bit of a darker shade, a 4B to start out with. And I'm just going to go ahead and make me a really nice first layer like we have been with everything else. And of course, if you know Adam West Batman, that cape is definitely shimmery. So we're wanting to have all kinds of little highlights and lighted areas and everything to make it interesting. And I'll try to give you guys some insight how to do this for you guys. One heavy shadow is going to be right here, so I'm going to make that just a little bit darker, just so I can for sure know where that's going to be for myself. And once you guys have a good first little layer on here, go ahead and start smudging. And like I have been telling everybody, you use these little smudge sticks. You can use Q-tips or toilet paper or whatever you want to use, but you know, these work great. These smaller ones, they come in little sets, but the little tips are really perfect for doing these little intricate details. And I'm just going to go in here and make small circles where I've laid my lines. I'm just going to smooth that all together real nice. And I'm just blending these together as much as I possibly can. All these little marks are just little guidelines for myself. It's kind of like a map as to where things are going to be in the piece. So after we got a pretty good first base here, I'm going to go, since I started with a 4B, I'm going to go a little bit darker. And let's go with a, let's see, there's a 5. Let's do, nope, that's 3, 6. We'll try 6. And we'll go in here and make it really a lot darker in that definite shadow that we were looking at. You just want a really nice contrast from what you're normally working with. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to blend that again. And then I'm going to take my mechanical pencil with the eraser on there that's really small, and I'm going to go and I'm going to just kind of go right over the top of that shadow area. That's going to give the impression that the shadow is going on underneath the fold. And then you just kind of go back in and make it a little bit lighter. And you use the same pattern on just about everything else. Here's another fold, so I'm going to go in here where it's a little bit darker. fabric is really weird to work with. It's got so many folds and shadows and lighted portions that it makes it a little difficult to work with sometimes, but if you use these tricks, it makes things a lot easier. And I'm going to go ahead and go across the top of this one to give that hint of a highlight there. So it looks like all that shading is going down underneath here, not on top. And then I'll go back. Make sure that's just a little bit lighter here. You just want to make sure there's a definite difference between your shadow, how dark it is, and how your lightest layer is going to be. I'm going to go in here and find some other darker areas. And as always, I'm using my trusty iPad as my lights or my reference source and everything. It's just layer upon layer of blending more and more graphite. You want to make sure and blend all those little white areas that are there. And then of course you go back in with your eraser on top where that fold begins. There's not really much to it. It's a lot easier than you think. You just want to make sure and have a nice contrast. In all your pencil drawings, you should try to represent every lightness and every darkness on the whole spectrum. That's what you're shooting for. So some areas should be really dark, some areas should be really light. Back in here and start some more. You want a nice, even layer. Every time you work with it, you want it to be nice and even. You don't want to really engrave hard into the paper because that's going to do no good for anybody. And I'm going to go through here and blend that just a little bit more. With these bigger areas, it's really easy to use a Q-tip like this and cover more of a bigger area.
It's amazing how much more it already looks like folded cloth compared to when you started.
Yeah. And as you see, it kind of pushes that highlight towards the front of the cape, so it kind of gives it a little bit more depth. Now these are just the beginning stages. Something like this has layer upon layer upon layer, like I said, but this is where you start. You just start with your basic, first layer. Then you start working with your shadows, see how dark they are. If you need to go darker, of course, go darker. Let me... these aren't quite as dark as I want them, so I'm going to go back in here with a darker pencil. This is my 9B. Put that in there. So you really give it that shadow look. And like I said, you want nice, even circles when you're applying these. You don't want to dig into the paper. And then you'll go back with your Q-tip and just kind of blend that in. So that should get you guys started. You all try to practice this. You can use it with anything you're trying to draw. All these principles remain the same. So you want to make sure and put those highlights in there with your pencil That's going to make or break your fabric there. So there's going to be more videos coming soon. So make sure you get on my website, artofmatthewatchley.com. From there, you can get onto all my social media, and you'll be able to be notified whenever I get new videos out there to you, or brand new art I'm trying to unveil, or my TV or film appearances too. But it's all at artofmatthewatchley.com. So I hope you all have enjoyed this. I love Batman. I know you guys do. So I will see you guys later. Hope you guys are doing good. See y'all.